Hello and welcome to another quick look. Me, GamerWolfSix, of another furry visual novel. This one, when I click that thing, Reconnected, a game about, as I'm reading right here, after war ravages, the Solarian system, the defeated species of Earth, are exiled to the Andromeda galaxy. So kind of like a Mass Effect Andromeda? Millennia later, the warring factions have evolved and forgiven, agreeing to reconnect with each other and share their cultures. Peace seems to be a fleeting promise when diplomats and civilians alike are mysteriously murdered at the hands of an unknown assailant. Terror and fear grips the city as the killer is on the prowl, and you find yourself locked into the middle of an investigation. You play as the diplomat sent from the Solarian system and have to fight to overcome struggles and challenges of the strange new world with the help of your friends. Solve the case, protect the people you care about, explore the world, and fall in love through Reconnected, a one-of-a-kind, whole, mystery, romance visual novel I can read. Always remember, things on Zenalyr are rarely what they seem to be. So, oh yeah, and there's like stuff about, look for hints and stuff. So anyways, before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can get it free on itch.io. But if you want to support the people that make this game and or get the news version earlier, you can go to their Patreon, where it's, as I'm bringing it up because I forgot to actually check that out, it's $3 a month. And if you want me to do a Let's Play series of this game, then tell me, and I'll give it a point which will higher on the user's choice list. And if you want me to do a quick look of any other game, then tell me, and I'll fast track it as much as I can. Fast tracking at this point being kind of like, bit less than half a year, maybe, So yeah, I think that is everything. So reset face, and begin. Did we do audio checks? Shoe ASMR. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to click on anything. Okay. You're not supposed to be here. Yeah, I didn't do audio check. There we go. It's just kind of like, what is it? Hitman? You're not supposed to be here. No, that's Skyrim. Oh, quit complaining. It's not like anything bad is gonna happen. Last famous words. You're lucky you're so cute. Just a bit longer, and I'll have the lock decoded. How did you manage to get your paws on such questionable tech anyways, Jakar? Some things are best left unspoken, Nika. Sorry, that just kind of reminded me of that thing where it's like, when reading visual novel or novels and stuff like that, fantasy ones, it's like my friend Dikapidapatabura and Bob. That doesn't really make me. Actually, never mind. I'm not some kind of secret deviant, lies, if that's what you're afraid of, Nika. You might end up a deviant if the dean or security finds us breaking into the athletic rooms this late at night and we get expelled. That's what you're afraid of? That the dean is going to be taking midnight stroll by the athletic room for no reason at this hour of night? You never know. Or, you don't know. He very well could be. Did you hear something? Is that the dean? You're paranoid. I didn't hear anything. Hey, that's mean, Jakar. Look, I'm just a little nervous, alright? Is that such a bad thing? You're right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have called you paranoid. I get that you're nervous, but do you even still want to do this? We can just go back to my dorm room and fool around there instead if you prefer that. So you're sneaking into the athletic area to woo? No. I really want to have you all to myself, at least for one night, even if I'm a little apprehensive. Well, if it means I can finally get some alone time with you outside of our dorms, the reward is well worth the risk, if you ask me. Can't you find a love hotel? I guess you're right. my roommate is beyond irksome, and yours is, well, downright weird. Also, just a weird thing. It was really weird last year when I found out, it's like, yeah, most places don't rent a room until after 3 o'clock, and it's like, really? Got it. Our chamber awaits us, my paranoid mate. So now you're just trying to get me riled up? Oh, trust me, you're gonna get pretty riled up inside, if you know what I mean. Wink. Jerk. Heh, after you, my dear. Gods, it's so dark in here. I can't see a damn thing. You're not still feeling nervous, are you, my love? No, not so much anymore. Being close to you like this is certainly helping. I do still feel bad about breaking the rules like this, though. Who knew my dashing boyfriend was secretly such an adherent little creature? You're incorrigible. Now get over here and kiss me before I change my mind about this whole thing. It would seem your nerves have been replaced by some desire. About damn time you'd loosen up. Jakar, why are you being such a stick in the ass right now? You know I can't help but teasing you, babe. Babe. Besides, it kinda sounds like you want my stick up your ass anyway. Ooh ooh. You are so lucky that I love you as much as I do. Now get over here, you big lug. I love it when you growl like that to me. 10 license to say at the least, my love. Are we not alone in here? Jakar? That wasn't me. Did you hear something? My love, relax, okay? Just try to enjoy yourself. It's just us. I'm being too rough. Do you need to slow down a bit, babe? Okay, I definitely heard something that time. It sounds like something breathing. I heard it too. So, still think I'm paranoid now? Nika, be quiet. Hello? Is there anyone else there? Gonna do a threesome? I still can't see a damn thing. I'm gonna find out what that sound is. Nika, don't you dare. You stay right here. Ouch! You stepped on my tail, fucking jerk. Nika, stay close to me. Something feels wrong. Who's there? Nika, I think I see someone over there, near the corner. Jakar, the decoder device. Maybe we can use it to get some light? Do you see anything? Yeah, I do. I think whoever is in here is just up ahead of us. Who are you? What the hell are you doing here? Is that who I think it is? What the hell are you even doing in here, you fucking freak? Are you some kind of fucking pervert? I mean, you did kind of walk in here. Jakar, calm down, okay? I'm sure he's just as scared to see us as we are of him. Hey, what's going on, man? Why do you look so different than normal? Are you hurt? Are you okay? What are you doing? Nika, I think something's wrong with him. Is he sick? Look, man, we're just in here for a good time. We don't want any trouble. Nika, don't go over to him. Stay here. Oh gods, what happened to you? Your eyes, they're... Oh gods. Nika, he... Oh fuck. Nika, run! Nika, run! He's a werewolf! Ah, that didn't sound good. Nika, where did you go? I can't find you anywhere, baby. Nika, is that... Nika? Nika! Nika! Fuck. There's so much blood. You're gonna be okay, my love. You're just gonna be just fine. I'm gonna get you some help, baby. Help. Somebody help. Please. Anyone. Oh gods. What did this to you? Wait. No. You did this? Did you do this to Nika? Why? He was your friend. Stay back. I'm warning you. Stop. No. Sorry, sometimes it's like, Your fuel smells so delicious. We connected. Unlike those guys' top halves from their lower halves. Huh, is this like 3D made? Because it kind of looks like it. I'm finally here. I've never thought this day would actually come. 4 years of preparing, studying, learning, all leading up to this exact moment. And now I'm here, light years away from home. The seats on the transport craft are far less comfortable than I would have expected, and my tail is starting to get a cramp. I suppose that's a good thing, though. The discomfort is a good reminder that this isn't just another nightmare, or some dream I'm gonna wake up from in a few hours. This is real. This is happening. Even if I wish it wasn't. I push my body against the safety restraints, gently testing the resolve. Of course, I'm a bit nervous. Accidents during interstellar travel are rare, or while rare, aren't unheard of. My thick claws scrape against the fibers of the straps, making a grinding sound that echoes throughout the cabin. All around me are sensors, display screens, and the occasional flickering light, no doubt monitoring the well-being of the passengers. Space travel can be a pretty intense process, both physically and mentally, regarding the quality of the transport craft. Regardless, it's common for star sickness to settle in during longer voyages. Most people puke or draw a fever in the mildest of cases, and it's only for trips spanning a few short light years within the same galaxy. A few short light years within the same. A few short light years. That's not very far. Well, actually, I don't know. Having every molecule in your body compressed and expanded as you travel through a wormhole the size of a pencil is probably going to have some adverse side effects. Physically, I still feel the same, even if it's practically unheard of for anyone to be making a voyage like mine. The training program for me to undergo this trip spent at least a month or two preparing me to handle this sort of thing, and I'm starting to feel my hard work pay off. The last time somebody traveled from the Solarian system into the Andromeda galaxy was during the Great Separation. That happened over a millennia ago? Quite a few of the other passengers have had to leave their seats to go vomit or lay down in one of the two cooling chambers available. That's exactly how I felt the first few times. I practiced in the gravity chambers back home on Terran. I guess you could say I'm more or less used to the feeling of having my insides squished into a pudding at this point by my boyfriend. So other than my dense fur starting to bristle at the sensation, I feel alright. Mentally, however, I think the trip might be starting to take a bit of its toll. I've been I've been on this damn transport craft for almost 3 days, and I think I can start to feel my mind slipping. I swear, I see a different passenger staring at me, flashing their canines menacingly, but when I look again, they'll be fast asleep. Or I'll hear a whisper over the sounds of the ship, muttering my name, and then I feel my tail wrap around my foot. Yeah. Typical symptoms of star sickness, I hope. I think back on what I was taught to do when you start to feel your mind slipping like this. Take a deep breath, close your eyes, and focus on what you know. My chest presses against the tight restraints as I take a deep breath, and surprisingly, it does a pretty decent job of grounding me. What do I know? What can I focus on? My mind drifts back to the lessons I had on Terran about the histories and events leading up to the Reconnection program. My old professor's voice booms inside my head, as if he's here with me, giving me another passionate lecture. All life that we know of originated in the Solarian system and for thousands of years there was a peace and prosperity. But with prosperity comes population. Over time, when the resources on Earth started to dry up, we knew we had to expand outwards to the stars. This raised the question of who would stay and who would go. The political climate spiraled out of control, and wars broke out across Solaris. The species of Earth bound to themselves, to their own kind, separated from each other. In the end, our people won the wars and laid claim to the Solaris system. To protect their new ownership, we banished all other species, sent them to the Andromeda galaxy in what was known as the Great Separation. I remember my professor used to get so proud of that part, like he was happy about what we did to other species, or proud of our historic victories. That's quite fucked up perspective to have, if you ask me. We turned on our own brothers and sisters, our own people, and for what? It doesn't matter that we were different species. Earth was all of our homes back then. And yet we slaughtered them, banished them into the cold darkness of space, because of nothing more than our own greed and fear. Not only that, but to try to keep the people in check, our ancestors destroyed all the histories and information regarding the fallen. We didn't just exile them, we wiped them from our memories, from our very existence. Karma's a bitch. It's been thousands of years since the Great Separation, and now it's us who needs them for help. In the Andromeda galaxy, a variety of banished Solarian species found a paradise, and nearly infinite resources. In just a few hundred years after the war, the blue passed us in technological advances, cultural advances, and really became something greater. That's kind of one thing. Sorry for this tangent, but it's kind of like one thing where I find it interesting in sci-fi stuff where it's like a lot of things get contained to a galaxy and don't go multi-galaxy. I mean, you got Mass Effect Andromeda. I guess you got that one game that came before Winds of Change. You got like, what was that one show? Stargates, Andromeda, and stuff like that. But you don't get a lot of things that, are multi-galaxy. Like Stellaris, you can be hyper advanced, but you still can't go outside your own galaxy. Mine's maybe like a cluster just right outside it. They evolved, adapted, and changed to fit their new environment. There isn't a Solarian life today that knows what the exiled species even were, let alone what they look like today. Serves us right? Solarian is a shit show right now. Resources drying up left and right, people losing their homes, their jobs. It's only a matter of time before we crack, brought to our knees by the consequences of our own transgressions. And now, I guess it's my job to fix this mess. Now it's my job to get the whole of Andromeda Galaxy to forgive, to save us from the certainty of our own future. Failure isn't really an option for me. It's probably why I was chosen for this damn reconnection program. Well, I know why. The coordinators told me why. Your perspective on the Great Separation is rather unique among our kind, and we hope that you can better serve the Solarians by being our representative for the reconnection program. I scoff audibly in the cabin of the spacecraft and run my claws down the length of my muscle, the sensation helping to keep my frustration in check. I'm not special for being a decent fucking person. When the reconnection program chose me, I couldn't believe it was real. I couldn't believe it actually was happening. I can still remember the look on my friends' faces when I broke the news to them that I was chosen to be the Solarian representative. Their expressions of pure shock and disbelief were priceless, even if they were quickly replaced with laughter and congratulations. It's almost like they thought I was somehow special, or lucky for being the one chosen to go. Yeah, I'm real lucky. I get to have my home, everyone I've known and loved, and give up my home and never lived, and get blasted off into another fucking galaxy. Lucky me. Serves me right for being a Solarian, I suppose. This is probably exactly how it felt all those years ago for the other species of Solaris during the Great Separation. I swear, it took at least a month for my friends to come to terms with what all actually meant. That I actually was going to be leaving them. And not just leaving for a short little vacation to old Earth or Jupiter. No, to fucking Andromeda Galaxy forever. The memories hit me like a rock in my throat. Saying goodbye was harder than I thought I would have imagined. I don't think there's a single thing I wouldn't give to see their smiling faces again. It all feels so surreal to me now, like a distant dream of days bygone, of better times. Nothing but ancient history, I suppose. Landing sequence initiated. Prepare for atmospheric entry. Please, for the safety of yourself and others, remain seated. The intercom overhead startles me from my ruminating and pulls me back to the moment at hand. I notice the turbulence has increased a bit, and I start to feel my stomach slowly floating up in my guts, as if I'm locked down by safety straps. A paws instinctively fly up to my pointed ears, pressing them down on them to try and relieve the pressure building inside as the transport craft descends. It feels like someone is blowing up a really big balloon inside my head, and it's just a matter of time before I pop. I think I'm gonna puke. Star sickness is a bitch. The windows of the craft become clouded with ozone and gases as the craft descends. They shudder and shake as if being slammed by an ancient creature while the atmosphere washes over us. I close my eyes, silently begging this experience to end. Gradually, the pressure lessens, and the craft slows, and the nightmare is over. Landing sequence successful. Welcome to Zenalyr IV. Or 4. My eyes snap open to the sound of the intercom blaring overhead in the sudden silence. Well, this is it. The end of the road. The start of the journey. Chatter from the other passengers. So I was just thinking of something, and I was like, I don't remember writing that one down. Other visual novel. Chatter from the other passengers kicks up around me. I can practically feel the excitement in the air, and the soft metallic clicks of safety harnesses being undone echoes throughout the craft. My large paws struggle to get a grip on the leads as I fumble with my own harness in the low light, shaking a bit in anticipation. The leads break free with a satisfying snap, and I crunch them back up to my chest or clutch, holding onto it like it's a lifeline. My paws subconsciously carry me forward, seemingly having a mind of their own, as if they're just as eager as I am to get off this damn ship. I can't believe this is actually happening. The sound of my steps ricocheting off the hard metal might just be the only thing keeping me tied to this moment. The hiss of pressure releases from the door and slowly peels away from me as it opens. The burning light of Zelahir's sun assaults my eyes as I step off the craft. I can't stop my jaw from dropping as I see the glittering city expanding out beneath my own 2 feet, almost like I'm standing inside a shining diamond ring that glistens and stretches to the horizon. My muscle twitches as the warm breeze floats by, the air smelling sweet and fresh, like a soft blanket to my senses. Tall buildings stretch up to the sky, and green trees sprout up all throughout the vast expanse of the city, making it look even more vibrant and alive. What's up with that one building in the background? Like, these look normal. What is up with that one? The gentle sounds of the city echo all around me, making my pointed ears twitch. Well, at least it's beautiful. My gaze drifts down from the lights of the city and lands on a particular little creature standing in front of me. Wow, a real Zenalyr. I remember being showed images and videos of the species I was going to be living with during my training, but seeing one up close is a totally different experience. I guess I expect them to be bigger? taller? Maybe this one's just small? Hello there. Might need to put it down just a smidge more. Yeah, you know. I try to sound as cheery as possible as I address them, but fail miserably. After 3 days or so of not being used, my voice comes out as deep, gruff, and jarring sound. It's clearly a shock to them, because their eyes widen, and then slowly harden up at me. Huh? Eyes widen and harden? I shift a bit uncomfortably on my paw pads under the Solarian's intense stare. I clear my throat, which does help a little with the tone before I speak again. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I do the traditional Zenalyr bow that I was taught in my training back in Terran, hoping my placating gesture is enough to smooth over my earlier gruffness. When I shift my eyes back to theirs, I can see it didn't work. The gaze is still boring into me, like I'm being interrogated for a crime or something. You must be Solarian, I take it? Oh, I guess this might... I was like, is this an earlier version where there isn't a thing? I downloaded it recently, but anyways, I guess it's like this person is somebody we briefly see. The voice is petite and definitely female, with a rigidity that belies old age. I shudder a bit as my fur around my muzzle ruffles in embarrassment at her dismissive tone. Yeah, that's me. How'd you know? Her eyes finally stop glaring, thank the gods, and heavy fingers, and turn down to a glowing datapad she's holding in her weary paws. She doesn't even look up at me as she responds. That bow hasn't been used in over 100 years, and is reserved for females on their bonding day. I blink a few times and smile sheepishly at her. It would be my up-to-date crash course on Solarian culture was as up-to-date as I was led to believe. My claws scratch nervously at the back of my neck, and I suddenly feel like I'm sweating through my fur. Way to go, dumbass. Great first impression. Nice job. Gods, I'm such an idiot. I mean, that's what you were taught, right? You can't, Sorry about that. I'm a bit new here, but you probably already knew that. She gives me a stern look over her datapad, typing away at something I can't see. Sir, before I'm allowed to release you into Zypher 4, I need to download your profile for the record bank. And sure, you know, your itinerary for the reconnection program. May I please see your datapad? I can't help but notice her tone as she talks about the program. Underneath her regal demeanor, she almost sounds spiteful. I blink a few times, processing her words as I slowly remember the reason why I'm here in the first place. Oh, right, the datapad. Yeah, I have it right here. I unzip my backpack, grabbing the glowing tablet and passing it over to her. I guess I probably do have a deeper voice than she might be used to. Am I really that strange to her? Her initial saltiness quickly fades to calm professionalism as she clears her throat and takes the datapad from my large paws. Name, species, star system of origin? Echo. How intriguing. Species and star system? Timberwolf. And Titan. Solar system. She types away at her own datapad before handing mine back into my empty clutches. Her itinerary has been downloaded for your viewing pleasure. The map of the city is also stored in your datapad, and will guide you to Allura University, where you'll be living for the remainder of the reconnection program. Additionally, as per the outlines of the system of the program, you'll be sharing a dorm with another delegate of the program. Sharing a room? You didn't tell me anything about that. Sharing a room? I wasn't required. That was a required part of the program. Is there any information you can provide me about who I'm going to be living with? I know she can tell I'm a bit nervous about this revelation as she glances back down at her glowing datapad, the blue light reflecting off her reddish fur. An angry sound and beep comes from the device. Of course it's a part of the program. The purpose of reconnection, after all, is sharing culture. What better way to do that then living with one another. And as for information on your roommate, there is none within the system I can provide. Sorry, give me a sec. I don't know how things operate back on your homeworld Titan, but here in Zenalyr, we respect privacy. Rude. Right. I suppose I'll just have to find out that on my own, then. Thank you for assistance, Miss... She doesn't respond to my question about her name, instead brushing past me and moving on to the next pasture. Her head barely reaches above my hip. Wow, they must be small. I sigh and shoulder my pack. If those Solarians are as crotchety as her, I'm gonna be in for a rough time. My claws reach my pack, pulling out my datapad. I flick through the tabs and find the map. It seems Orila University is actually just about a 15-minute walk away, which is definitely good news. After that rough trip and brutal re-entry, the last thing I want to do is trek through a foreign city for hours on end. I will my paws to carry me forward, and the city seems to envelop me with its electric embrace as I walk. The greenery and plant life gives way to becoming more and more sparse and infrequent as I go deeper into the cityscape. The buildings rise up before me, and I see hundreds of Zenalyrians bustling around in the early evening light. It seemed that the liaison I met earlier was definitely not representative of the higher species. Most of them are slender, elegant, with a good variety of sizes, but I've yet to see one that matches my stature, even if a rare few do come close. I notice many of them give me a confused look as I walk down the path towards the university, like I'm some kind of invader in their lands. In their defense, they've probably never seen something quite like me before, so it's only natural for them to be curious. At least, I hope it's just curiosity, and not animosity. I stare in awe as I take in the environment that has now completely swallowed me up. Most buildings have a glowing, crystal-energy pylon stationed out front that shine at the poignant teal hue. The very air itself seems to feel statically charged, and I find myself neat and flat in my gray fur quite a few times to appear even remotely like I fit in. After a few minutes of walking, I can feel my paws starting to get sore. It seems the voyage took more out of me than I assumed. A delicious smell wafts across the air, and my stomach growls loudly, which I'm sure doesn't help my dangerous foreign invader or much at all. It's probably been a solid day or two since I've had a proper meal, and I just hope there's food somewhere in my dorm or at the university. I can't help but look longingly towards the source of the smell, which is a large metal food cart on the opposite side of the street. Steam rises from the grills on the cart, billowing over the small crowd of excited Zenalyrians gathering around. Behind the stand is a small male who meets my hungry gaze with a friendly wink. My parched tongue instinctively flicks over my muzzle at the prospect of getting a meal. The cart operator suddenly stops his work and flashes me a smile. His canines glint in the low light, and his eyes lock onto me with a predatory gleam. Give me a sec. He licks his lips as well, and I can see drool pooling up on the corners of his sharp jaws. Time grinds to a halt, and the air around me seems to be electrically charged with attention as he sets down what looks like a spatula and starts to crawl over the cart towards me. His lips pull back into a devilish snarl, and his head unnaturally crooked to the side, like a beast staring at its prey. The acrid smell of burning flesh and fur hits my nose like a punch in the face as he steps onto the grill. What the fuck? My hackles raise, and my deadly claws flex at my sides defensively. I take a step back and shake my head, trying to focus on the fight that's brewing before me. My eyes focus back on the Solarian. He's standing behind the cart, smiling naturally as he entertains his customers. Fucking star sickness. I quickly turn and keep walking up the street. shaking the vivid hallucination from what I just witnessed. I knew the star sickness was no joke, but I had no idea it would ever be that intense. The hard metal streets clanked under my claws as I walked past the towering buildings of Zenalyr. I glanced down at the datapad and shows I'm only a few minutes away from my dorm. My long strides start to quickly eating up the distance, and I can see a large, ornate university come into view at the end of the road. It's a truly massive building, seemingly made out of something like marble with columns, arches, and multiple entry pylons out front. The university an oasis compared to the rest of the surrounding city. The grounds are covered in grass, trees, and bushes, like a verdant emerald gem in the midst of all the buildings behind me. Near the roof of the building is a sculpture of a proud-looking Solarian holding a stack of books. The fur along my back and nape bristles a bit as nervousness sets in, with maybe a bit of anticipation as I move towards the entrance. I'm really going to be living with the Solarian for the foreseeable future, and I hope they're not anything like the ones I met at the starport. I clamber up the steps and across the threshold into the building. The interior design is high-tech and very well furnished. I'm standing in what appears to be some sort of common room, with stairs, tables, couches, and a few lingering Solarians. They glance up at me, but don't seem to pay me any mind, which is a welcome respite from the reception I had in the city center. My datapad chart readouts indicates that my room is at the very end of the far hall to my left, and I eagerly head down it. Rows and rows of doors, no doubt other rooms, line the corridor. Well, at least I'm in the right place, I think. I reach the end of the hall, and the cool town underneath me sending a chill up my spine as I stop in front of my door. 22T. My muscle pulls back, and what hopes to be a friendly smile is prepared to introduce myself, and unlock the door with my keycard, pushing it open. Yeah, this looks very different from before, because, this seems like, not AI, but 3D, and this looks like, drawn. The room is relatively average-sized, with plain walls and sparse furniture. The only thing of note is a big sword hanging above the beds, etched and engraved with runes and symbols I don't recognize. Well, the sword, and the fact that sitting on one of the two beds is one of the largest creatures I have ever seen. All you can make out is a mountain of jet black fur, since its back is facing me, and its tail is draped down onto the floor below. I can see the dense contours of muscle and sinew rippling beneath the glossy shine of its pelt. That's no Zenalyr. This thing is truly, genuinely massive, and a bit of fear clutches at my throat as it goes dry. Excuse me? By Atherion. The creature's deep voice booms through the room, and he falls off the bed onto the tile with large that. Or it's like, by Atherion, or something. Quickly stands up, brushing off his fur as he takes a look at me. You almost scared the fur out of me. He has an accent that's unlike anything I've heard before. It's a bit guttural with gruffness that's separate from deep tone, almost like he's growling and speaking at the same time. He clearly wasn't expecting a visitor today. The black behemoth shifts and turns his face to me, and I see the front of his enormous creature. Okay, I was like, are we going to see any sort of person or something? It's a wolf. Maybe? Let's check time. Okay. It's definitely canine, and looks pretty familiar to me in terms of anatomy, but there's some pretty striking difference, the size being the most obvious one. The beast has 3 growing stripes carving up the middle of his left flank, across his muscled chest, one across his eye, and his ears are a bit more pointier than mine. What's most shocking are his eyes. They're unlike anything I've ever seen, glowing a vivid purple, like he has some sort of bioluminescence. All you can do is stare in awe as he rises up to his full height, which is probably a foot, and then some above my own stature. Sorry about my surprise there. I wasn't expecting anyone to be stopping by today. Are you Echo? I told They told me you wouldn't be here for another week. The deep baritone voice hits me like a wall. I clear my throat and try to sound as confident as possible before the truly intimidating creature in front of me. Yeah, I'm Echo. It's nice to meet you. His muzzle pulls back into a grin, and I see the glint of sharp fangs and bright artificial lights. Well, your presence, although shock, is not unwelcome. My name is Kai Raiken. It's a pleasure to meet you, Echo. He bows low to me, his enormous paws scraping against the floor as he flourishes forward, downward. After my screw up with the liaison earlier, I'm not quite sure how to greet him formally. Yeah, definitely not risking a bow. It's nice to meet you too, and sorry about scaring you. I figured you knew I was coming. I probably should have knocked regardless. Sorry again. Oh, it's no problem. I'm glad you're able to find a place with what I hope find the place with relative ease. I've come to learn that Orila University can be a bit of a maze at times, and I found myself lost more often than I care to admit. He seems friendly enough. Yeah, my data pad took me right here, but I wasn't made aware they had a roommate until after the craft landed. Kai chuckles, and chuckle rumbles through his chest at my words. He doesn't seem too surprised at what I said. Ah, yes, that's to be expected. Zenalyrians do have a tendency to keep outsiders in the dark. Interesting. He seemed to have known that I was coming, so someone definitely told him. But not me? Not to assume too much, but you clearly knew I was coming. Are you not an outsider? I don't want to make assumptions or anything, but you don't look like the other Zenalyrians I've seen this far. Do I look small, like a small little fluffball to you? How insulting. I can tell by his smirk that he is joking, or at least attempting to. No, I'm not a Solarian. I am a Colteran. Colteran? You didn't really think. The only ones joining in this reconnection program were the Zenalyrians, did you? I'm starting to realize I'm not nearly as prepared for this as I thought I was. So many times that is in real life. I mean, maybe? He chuckles a bit more, then returns to size me up with those glowing purple eyes. Oh no, there's probably 20 different species here that were invited in on the program. Remind me, what star system did you come from? You don't look like anything I've ever seen before. It would seem like he's just as shocked at my nature and my anatomy as I am of his. I'm from the Solarian system, 10 to be exact. His ears perk up at my revelation. You're the Solarian? You have to excuse my surprise again. You're just not what I was expecting from a Solarian to look at like. Yeah, you can say that again. Well, it seems like we have a lot of learning about each other to do. But first, make yourself at home. No need to stand in the doorway like a stranger. He steps back away from me, gesturing for me to enter as he sits down on the bed once more. His muscles bunch up under the striking fur as he moves, and I can't help but stare a bit. Kai sure is impressive, to say the least. He catches my gaze lingering on his body a bit too long and shifts around on his haunches uncomfortably. He looks down at his bare chest and then back up to me. His tail curls around his leg a bit in embarrassment. Sorry about my state of undress. As I said, I wasn't expecting visitors, and I find clothing here to be a bit clingy. I set my bag down on the floor and walk towards what I assume is the bed. Don't worry about it. Oops, sorry, read the eyes. And stretch. I need to stretch more. I'm not bothered. You're allowed to feel to be un, You're allowed to be comfortable however you please. This is your space too. To his surprise, he breathes a sigh of relief. Well, that's good to hear. I was half expecting you'd be like the Zenalyrians. A slight groan of pleasure escapes my lips as I finally have a chance to sit down somewhere that isn't on an uncomfortable transport craft. What do you mean by that? Like the Zenalyrians? Ah, you must excuse me again. I suppose you're new here, after all. Well, you'll find out soon enough that the people here, as good-natured as they are, can be a bit, how would you Solarian say, sticks in the mud? I chuckle a bit at his careful phrasing, like he's wary of offending me. If I'm going to be living with this guy, it's probably best to just be myself and let him see the real me. Really? I think I would have, just called them bitchy. His massive muzzle rolls back in a deep laugh. Oh, I think that's putting it lightly, friend. He gets comfortable on the bed and clasps his paws together in front of him. So tell me, how was your voyage, Echo? Were the stars kind to you, I hope? I follow suit, propping myself up against the wall behind me and cross my legs, my tail flaying lazily to one side. I'm a bit starsick, but other than that, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How about you? Did your trip go smoothly? How far did you have to travel to get here anyway? As I'm sure you may have noticed, I'm a bit unfamiliar with Codsera, is it? Or Colarta? Kai nods knowingly, and his expression is pretty welcoming, all things considered. Ah, no. I've lived here on Zenalyr, for almost 3 cycles now, and my condolences for the SAR sickness. I myself haven't experienced it, but I've heard it's far from pleasant. Well, I guess that answers my question about why he knew he was getting a roommate and I didn't. He was here for some time. 3 cycles? I might be wrong in this, but I was under the impression that Zenalyr didn't really have planetary borders open for immigrants. His demeanor noticeably changes at my question. He looks down at his paws and twirls his claws together. Did I say something wrong? No, you're right on that. Zenalyr has been closed off for the past few hundred cycles. I blink at him in confusion as I wait for him to continue, but he doesn't seem too eager to explain himself. Sorry if it said something that upset you. I guess I'm just a bit confused as how you've been here for so long if Cypher isn't open to immigration. Kai's bushy head shakes from side to side slowly. I'm not an immigrant. I'm a refugee. It's on something I particularly enjoy talking about. Oh, I'm sorry. I had no idea. I didn't mean to pry. No need to apologize. You'll learn all about it in due time. A refugee? From what? I didn't realize wars still continued in the galaxy. Change the subject, you know? I should probably just drop it. Clearly, something is pretty traumatic happened to this guy. So, have you been liking Zenalyr so far, or Zenalyr? You've been living here for 3 cycles. Surely, you must have had some, opinions on the place. Zenalyr's amazing. The people here have been definitely understanding and welcoming, not to mention the nightlife here in the city is amazing. Kotera will always be my home, but Zenalyr definitely has its redeeming qualities, to say the least. The nightlife, huh? What exactly do you mean by that? Surely you don't mean the bitchy, Zenalyrians like to party, do you? I mean, I guess if it's a refugee, it doesn't have to exactly mean war. It could be like an ecological, refugee. Oh, that's exactly what I mean. The Zenalyrians, as stuck up as they are, really do enjoy letting loose, and they do it well. I wouldn't have guessed that in a million cycles. Well, color me surprised. It would seem there's more to them than meets the eye. I was a bit shocked myself when I first experienced a Zenalyrian nightclub, but let me tell you, it's amazing. I'm not much of a party wolf myself, but if you say it's fun, I'll gladly take your word for it. Party wolf? I don't understand. Right, of course he doesn't know what a wolf is. Why the hell would he? Then what is he? It would seem my ability to make assumptions during first impressions is something of a superpower at this point. Yeah, the informal name of my species is wolf, after all, so a party wolf is someone that enjoys going to clubs and parties like that. He seems to consider my words for a moment, contemplating the meaning. I see what you mean. I know you are Solarian, but I didn't know your species was known as wolf. In my language, we have a word for someone that enjoys music and being social with others, but it wouldn't quite translate to party wolf. Really? What would it translate to? Slut. He smiles and says a word in his language, and it really does just sound like a guttural growl, more than an actual word. It's beautiful sounding, but it's in its own rugged sort of way. I guess the... It do be like that. I guess the closest word would be slut, but I've since learned that word has a very different meaning for non-Colteran people. Yeah, it's gonna be a clip. Give me a sec. I've never played this game. I was just like, that would be the funniest thing. His booming voice rumbles through his chest again. I can't help but chuckle as well. His laugh is pretty infectious. Slut? Are you trying to tell me something about yourself here? I wink at him teasingly. He chuckles a bit before facing me fully again. You've called me Red Pod. But seriously, while I do enjoy dancing and laying loose just as much as the Zenalyrians, that's as far as the context of that word applies to me. Well, I suppose it's good that you can be responsible with your endeavors of the night, as it were. I guess this means I'll have to show you sometime then. It would be my pleasure to be the one to first introduce you to the party scene here on Zenalyr. The premise of going to the Zenalyr club is a bit daunting to me. Kai seems like he'd be a blast to hang out with in a more social environment, or in the bedroom. I think I have seen a picture of partying with him. Not to mention, the thought of a hot guy like him dancing is, well, appetizing. I'd love to. It sounds fun. Ah, so you're secretly a bit of a slut yourself, then, after all. Now I'm the one laughing, and throwing my paws at, pretending to be offended. No, I'm a stand-up wolf, I swear. No need to get defensive, little one. I'm just teasing. Daddy. Little one? I'll have you know, I'm quite large by Solarian standards. That's fair. I guess most people in Zenalyr are little ones in comparison to me. Which was quite a shock to me when I first got here, I might add. A shock to him? Kai's fucking enormous. How could he not know? He clearly notices my somewhat conflicted expression. I suppose you don't really have much of a frame of reference, do you? By Colteran standards, I'd say I'm only slightly above average. Are you telling me that you Colterans get even bigger? Kai smiles a bit and nods eagerly. Oh yes. I once met someone that was nearly a full 2 feet taller than me in one of the cities back home. There's no fucking way. The thought that he views himself as slightly above average is mind-boggling. That's hard for me to wrap my head around, in all honesty. What exactly are you anyways? I'm a wolf, like I mentioned, but I obviously haven't met anything like your species before. Kai pauses a bit at the question, running one of his claws over his muzzle. Well, there isn't really an agreed-upon term in the common tongue for my species, but I'd say that the most accurate label would be Wolf of the Crypt. Wolf of the Crypt? So a crypt wolf? Can't say I've heard anything quite like that. Then again, I'm a timber wolf, and there are quite a few subspecies within my species, like gray wolf for example. I pause for a moment before continuing. Is a cryptwolf something like that? Just a Colteran subspecies? Kai nods eagerly, a genuine smile creeping across his face. Yes, like that exactly. You're quite the clever one, Echo. A slight blush creeps into my fur as I feel the flutter in my chest as I bristle around my eyes. Kai is actually pretty charming. Well, thank you for the compliment. So, why the name then? If it's alright for me to ask, that is. The first thing you need to know about Coltera is that we're extremely devoted and religious people. You'll learn all about that through the Reconnection program, but my species specifically are tasked with defending and protecting religious burial sites and artifacts all across our planet. We defend the crypts of our ancestors, hence the name Cryptwolf. My new roommate is a bit of a religious zealot. Great. Could be far worse, I suppose. At least, he's not an actual Zenalyr, which my gut tells me would be pretty bad. Fascinating. Religion hasn't really existed in the Solarian system since well before the Great Separation. But I guess that does explain on the name, Cryptwolf. I repeat the name, enjoying the sound of it as it really rolls off the tongue. I'm guessing that's what the sword is then? An artifact from your homeworld? I say reverently, my gaze drifting up from the sword above his head that I noticed earlier. Kai follows my gaze and flashes a toothy grin. Oh yes, the blade of Aetherion. It's a relic from my family has been in charge of protecting for generations. Each family of Cryptwolf is responsible for safekeeping of one artifact, and the sword is mine. It's passed down from father to son, and when my father died, the blade became my responsibility. I can't help but gawk at the sword. The intricate runes and designs gave it a sense of importance that you can practically feel in the air around you. It seems to be made of solid gemstones, and the blade itself looks sharp as the low-lying room of the dorm dances and shimmers over the dangerous edges. I'm sorry to hear about your father. Have you ever had to use it? The blade, I mean. I wish I was worthy enough to wield such a blade. Aetherion hasn't chosen a champion since the Dark Times. I'm simply the blade's keeper. Simply its keeper. I can't help but feel a bit indifferent. Kai speaks with such conviction, like there might actually be some truth to those religious fairy tales that he believes in so fervently. It's not in my place to challenge its ideals regardless. It's our job to learn about him and his culture, not to judge. If that means tolerating a bit of religious propaganda, then so be it. It's beautiful. I'd love to hear some of the stories about it sometime. Oh, you'll learn about it in the coming months, I'm sure of it. A slight chuckle escapes his muzzle, and his glowing eyes flash with excitement. And I'm very much looking forward to teaching them to you, Echo. His eyes look at me for a moment. Ooh, what's with that face? You know, there's some video games where, like, they give you that look, and I'm just like, okay. Like, it's that, and in Dawn Course, when Rune gives you that look, but version 2 of Rune, not the current version. I felt a little bit disappointed. Like, the artist is good, but I felt a bit disappointed when they updated them to, like, version 3. It's like, oh, but Rune's uwu face. Captivating purple hue of his gaze, drawing me in like a moth to the flame. We hold each other's gaze, and he smiles softly at me. Your breath catches my throat, and I can't help but smile back at this truly enigmatic being. A beeping sound echoes into the dorm. Aetherion be damned. I'm gonna be late. A sudden change in his demeanor snaps me out of my momentary trance. Late? What's going on? Is everything alright? He gets up from his large bed and walks over to the datapad on the nightstand, its raven black fur practically absorbing the light from the room as he moves. He lifts the datapad up very close to his eyes, almost like he's struggling to get a read of bright letters and the words on the display screen. My apologies for cutting our introductions with one another short, but I have a pressing appointment downtown I must attend to. I look out the window and see that it's well into the night at this point. An appointment? At this hour? He opens the drawer in one of the two dressers of the dorm room and pulls out what seems to be a type of shirt. The garment has the same symbol that my own clothes have, in Miss Marcus's diplomats for the reconnection program. So all the diplomats are expected to work with one another on the same name basis, on a first name basis, I can read. It kind of defeats the purpose of having a symbol to let us know who we are. I mean, the mark is really nothing more than a big brand that tells the Zenalyrians, hey, this guy's a foreigner in case you couldn't tell. An appointment? This late at night? Kind on sharply as he strips the garment over his massive frame slips. Unfortunately, yes. Normally, I'd be a bit more eager to skip such a thing and keep chatting, but this is kind of important. Oh, no worries, Kai. I should expect you to be back later or not? He shakes his head slowly, and his pointy ears all back and forth. No, I won't be back tonight, so please, don't wait up for me. I'm sure you'll need a rest after such a long journey, not to mention being starsick. I can tell the vibrations through the floor as he walks over. I can feel the vibrations through the floor as he walks to the door. He moves rather gracefully for being so large, which isn't really surprising now that I think about it. Speaking of, I forgot to mention that package is here for you. He points his puzzle to the corner of the room by the nightstand. Sure enough, there indeed is a package there I hadn't noticed until now. It's from the resource synthesizers of the city. It would seem the Zenalyrians have provided you with some sort of welcoming gift. I glance over at the package before looking back at the Cryptwolf. Thanks for letting me know. Oh, safe travels then, I suppose. It was a pleasure to have met you, Kai. Pleasure is all mine, friend. Can I plan on seeing you tomorrow during the Memorial for the Fallen? Memorial for the Fallen? What the hell is he talking about? I reach over the edge of the bed and pull the data pad off my bag and start scrolling through my itinerary. Sure enough, tomorrow at the 11th hour, Memorial for the Fallen. Yes, of course. I'll be there. You can count on that. We'll see you then, friend. Thank you very much for the conversations. I'm glad my roommate has turned out to be such an interesting individual. Goodbye for now, Echo. He bends his muzzle low, giving me another sweeping bow before turning and shutting the door behind him. And I think with that, or an interesting individual indeed. I think with that, that's a good time to call it since we're over the 1 hour mark. So, that's going to be the end of this Let's Play. So comment, or quick look. So comment, cause I like comments, if you like, dislike, tips, like otherwise. If you like my YouTube and like to grow, then please subscribe and check out the news type of current please learn Zenalyr and also have control of the pet population. And if you want to play this game, it's available for free on itch.io. But if you want to support the people that make this game and get the news version earlier, they have a Patreon where it's $3 a month. But that's not gonna. And if you want me to do a quick look of this game, then sorry, I'm doing like 12 things at the same time. I thought I saw another picture in this thing, but there seems to be only a few of them. Maybe it was somewhere else where I was seeing them. Oh, maybe it was something else, yeah. But if you want me to do a Let's Play series of this game, then tell me, and I'll give it a point, which is higher on the user's choice list. And if you want me to do a quick look of any other game, then tell me, and I'll put it in the quick look slot, and give it a point. So there are some other characters we haven't seen. There's like some kind of gray, smaller wolf. There's blood. And there's two white-looking foxes. I wonder if they're the Zenalyrians or something. Because, like, their height compared to this guy comes to about here. You know? One boy and one girl. And I feel... and I feel a bit bad because, like, there's a picture of the boy small guy being all cryy, and I'm like, oh, such a precious little boy. Anyways, that's enough of this game, because we have to figure out what we're doing for next week. So, I guess I don't even have to say, hey, don't record this anymore. It doesn't go to Steam anymore. We'll take this, put it in the quick look folder, and we got 3 left. We're gonna have to look for more ones. Random number generator. Also, I've all of a sudden gotten hungry. Even, well, I guess it is near 12. Time flies when you're fantasizing about wolves. Number 3. Do-do. Do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Is that really the main screen for this game? Can you go to the game? Just when I kind of look if we got the most up-to-date version, because this is kind of weird. Okay, we don't have the most up-to-date version. But I'm just going to, where is it? There? I'm just going to show you what the thing is. Yeah, it's like, yeah. I guess it's like, hey, there's memes. But it's Viv, the game. A game about a girl who's doing coffee stuff. I mean, let me just, start it so you can actually see what it looks like. That's her. And she's tired and stuff like that. And she has to deal with coffee and boys and stuff. Let me see if we can, there is a more up-to-date version. I guess we should read the thing. Polar Hill is a city in which, sorry, I'm doing multiple things at once. In which anthropomorphic animals of different species and sizes live. The crime rate grows every year. The main character is a squirrel named Vivian, who lives her boring and mundane life. She's tired of work, tired of boring life, but she is too cowardly to get out of her comfort zone. But suddenly the world around her begins to change in a strange way. Events begin to fall on her shoulders, forcing her one by one forcing Vivian to change. Sorry. Let me just see if we can do this. In hoops that stuff. Okay. Her character depends on the player. Among Vivian's stats are domination, manners, stress, corruption, and madness points. Depending on your actions, the stats can change to positive or negative value, which will affect your progress, opening a new path and closing another. Because, for example, a submissive Vivian cannot argue with the larger species, or dominant cannot pretend to be weak and manipulative. Be careful and listen to Vivian's intuition. If her stress level raises too high, irreparable things will happen. Irreparable? Yes. So, if you want to play this game, let's see. Again, sorry, I'm doing 20 different things. I'm pretty sure this... One second. What's it called? Man, I'm going through so many things to do it. Yeah, so it's available free on itch.io, but if you want to support the people that make this game and or get the news version earlier... Where is it? Okay, that's news for $1. New game update is $3 a month. You know, the usual thing. But let's at least try and see if we can get a more up-to-date version, so we can at least see the picture. Ba-doom, ba-doom. And is it something different? Hopefully. Because that's a weird intro screen where it's like South Park. Where... Okay, Movavi. we might undelete the previous version. Also, turn up the audio. There we go. Yeah. Thanks, game. Oh, there it is right there. I had Movavi open. Anyways, until next time, another quick look. Me, GamerWolfSix is some other game, then me and Vivian. But not this version, the previous one, because that intro screen is so raunchy. I'm gonna get a snack and tea. Thanks, see ya.